Hi, students. We're going to talk about diction today. So we have talked about this term before, earlier in the year when we were doing a little bit more pointed rhetorical analysis with some of the texts we were looking at. But we're going to be looking at, in the coming days, some Cold War speeches. So what we really want you to understand is why the author chooses the words that they do and what the impact of those words is on the audience. So while you may have an idea of what this word means, what diction is, we're going to go into a little bit more depth here. So looking at the first slide, what is diction? It's the author's word choice, and it can be formal, informal, colloquial, or slang. When we talk about formal diction, that's something you would see in a serious text or more in the academic context, right? Like when you write an essay for school, the language is formal. Informal would be relaxed but polite conversations. Colloquial would be everyday usage, but not necessarily universally accepted as proper. And then we have slang, which would be newly coined terms not acceptable for formal usage. Analyzing diction, when analyzing, we should consider why the author chose keywords or what the impact of that choice is on things like attitude and tone. So in addition to falling somewhere on that scale of formality between formal language and slang, words also carry denotative and connotative meaning. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in the coming slides about what that means. So when we say denotative meaning, that would be the word's denotation, which is just simply a word's dictionary definition. When you look up that word in the dictionary, this is what it means. Whereas connotation would be the associations or additional meanings that words can carry. So a little bit more on that. Denotative language is going to be more literal, exact, journalistic, and straightforward, whereas connotative language is more poetic, lyrical, figurative, symbolic, even metaphorical, obscure, sensuous, grotesque, and picturesque. So in addition to words falling somewhere on that scale of formality, some words are more connotative, right? And some words are more exact or journalistic or denotative, okay? So connotative language are going to be words that maybe carry more emotions and more imagery for us. Words that have very strong either positive or negative meanings or bring up those emotions in us. So we're going to practice. I have 2 slides of practice that we're going to go through together. So this is from a Yeats poem. An aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick. We're going to focus in on that word tattered. What picture is created by the use of the word tattered? Well, if you look up tattered in the dictionary, it means old and torn. But here, a tattered coat upon a stick, we get a picture of a coat in shreds, hanging loosely on a stick. So the connotations are pretty negative, of disarray, of something that's shredded. This tells us that the speaker's attitude towards this man is that the man is insignificant, wasted, and maybe of little value. Okay, so we can see that these connotations that words carry tell us a lot about the author's attitude. Let's look at another one. As I watched, the sun broke weakly through, brightened the rich red of the fawns, and kindled their white spots. We're going to look at that bolded word kindled here. What kind of flames does kindled imply? Kindled would imply a small, glowing, or igniting of material to start a fire. Okay? So it's a very gentle image, which nicely matches that newness and delicacy of the fawns in the scene. So how does the verb kindled suit the purpose of the sentence? Well, if we look at that phrase, the sun broke weakly through, if you imagine a sun maybe breaking through the clouds, that light is not incredibly bright or fast or harsh. It's soft, it's slow, and it's gentled. So kindled is what the sun is doing, right? It's kindling the white spots on the fawn. So kindled really nicely matches that phrase, the sun broke weakly through. That last question asks, well, if we, would the sentence be strengthened or weakened if we changed the phrase, the sun broke weakly through, to the sun burst through? The sun burst through, if we look at that word burst, a burst suggests a strong, decisive action and not the gentle action of kindling. So it actually wouldn't work as well as the sun broke weakly through. So we're going to have you try this just with a few different sentences in the practice for today, and we'll continue our study of word choice in the coming days as we look at some of those Cold War speeches, right? What is the impact of the language? Just even choosing between broke weakly through and bursting through, as we see with these sentences or with these phrases, that makes a big difference. Okay, so that is what we will be looking at. Okay, thank you.